everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. We are on Junk Journal July, day number 16, Maximalism. Something I am not unfamiliar with. So I wanted to do kind of just almost like a cleanup sort of project today, but it's also one that I think could be useful, I hope. So let me just talk for a minute about this. So if you've been here for a while, you already know what this is. But if you're new here, this is my book, Sally Go Round the Sun by Edith Fouke. This is my creativity sampler. It's a great big book. This was my favorite songbook as a child. And whenever I see it, I grab a copy of it. I basically collect this book for no really good reason other than I love it. So I decided to take this copy and make myself what I refer to as my creativity sampler. This is a little picture of me in front of a fire here with my teddy bear when I was a kid. And this is some lovely paper. This is beautiful to look upon. This is Edith Fouke. I did a little page for her to just kind of, think about her because she's the one who created this book that I love so much, and I call it my creativity sampler. And what this is it's my way of recording all of the journals that I make by keeping some of the snippets that are left over. I might do a little journaling about them. And I put them in here. So I've been doing this since July of 2022. It started with my fairy journal collection that I made. This was a design team project. Now, this is an example here of my maximalism kind of thing that I want to do today. So in June of 2022, I started a Patreon. And one of the things that I wanted to quickly kind of offer was some kind of a fun and eclectic monthly journal together kit. So this was the first one that I ever made. And I used it here to just kind of record what I had made, the work that I had done. So these are busy pages. We've got this little kind of glued down acorns and maple seeds, and I use this bee thing here. This is a tuck spot for this journal card, and this is a flip out, and then this goes back in the tuck spot, and then underneath it we have my apologies, that would be my son ringing the doorbell. We have this pocket here, and then inside the pocket we have some tags and some journal cards and such. And then we can put this back over here, and it's a layer on top, and then that closes. And I've even got, word labels over here. And then over on this side, I have this image. This I made a little tuck out of. This is a pocket, a side tuck spot pocket with a journal card. Underneath it we have this little cabinet card and a little word snippet. And then in here we have another tuck spot. I added the label for what this was. This was August of 2022. And then we have this little label. And so I just kept all of my snippets and things in here. And then this in this little tuck spot created by this little label piece here. So yeah, this page to me is quite maximalist. So that's what I would like to do today with my latest journal remnants. And I want to do it on this page. So my remnants are from my tree journals that I just completed. So what I typically do to tackle these pages is I look at the page and see if there's anything I'd like to keep, like these flowers. And then I start to think about, what do I want the background to look like? Sometimes I leave it as it is, and sometimes I cover it. Because some of these pages are just really nice in this book. So I think what I'll do maybe is give a start to the background with some of the larger pieces that I ended up not using in my tree journal. So I've been using kind of a stamp-like format with these scraps. I was cutting out little squares or punching little sort of stamps of the different papers. Did I say fabrics? I feel like I did. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I was cutting it out in little sort of squares and snippets to just, you know, use the last little bits of everything that I have. And I quite like that method, but I don't do it for every page. I don't really have major rules here. But I do like having this sampler, this project kind of log of all the creative things that I've been doing, because I think sometimes we forget how much we're actually doing. And then we feel like we're not productive, and then when you look back and you're like, oh, well, actually, I think I might put that here. I'll just trim a little more off of it. And I don't treat this with too much preciousness. I just sort of glue things down and I create a layout that I find appealing. And this is the background, so I'm just going to add this little snippet of green. Just to cover up the words. Okay. So now I think what I would like to do is create sort of a tip out on this page that I can use for journaling space, and a pocket at the bottom. So I think I'll use this bit of, bit of scrapbook paper, and I'm going to put that here maybe, or maybe I might break it in half and do a couple of small pockets. Yeah. And then I need to back the tip out. That's where I'll end up doing my journaling. So let's move the pockets over here. And in this book, I just kind of, I will write down some things about the project. And what I enjoyed about it, or what I struggled with, or things I learned. Taking some scrap painty paper here. So now I'm just going to run and stitch around this. So now I'm just going to fold the back flip part. And I think I want to put this here, so it's going to flip over this way. Okay, and then I need to decide how I want these pockets to go. And I think I will punch little thumb holes in them. I'll glue this one here just like a tuck spot style. I'm not going to glue this side. Oops. I think I used enough glue there. There we go. Then this one, I think I will glue it down as a whole pocket. Okay. Then I think I'll use some of these little bits of seed pictures. Add them on here. Oops. And I may add the other one actually. Let me just move these things that I'm not using so I can reshift myself here. That's better. Okay. I'll add this one here. And I'm just going to grab a pen, and before I go a whole lot further, so it is July of 2023, and this was The Beautiful Tree of Life. It's the first journal. And then there is the identification of trees and shrubs. And the radiant tree. Okay, I'm just going to write that there for that little bit of recording what journals these materials came from. And then I'd love to add the little tree man down here because that was from a French book called The Walking Tree. I'm going to glue that right on top of the pockets even. So that will kind of close that tuck spot and make it more of a traditional pocket. And I have this beautiful little scrap. This was from the cover of the tree identification book that I used for one of the journals. I think I'll just put that up here. And then here's something that we can use as a journal card. This is a beautiful bird from a book about the English countryside. I'll just check the width here. It's a little wide. We'll get rid of that. How's that? I think that's better, but I need to open up the pocket here. That's better. This can go away. And then I need to back this. And maybe we'll turn this into a tag. And the thing about this kind of a creativity sampler is you can also write about things like, you know, with what's going on in your life and that sort of thing. And, you know, not just keep it about your creative endeavors, or you can just keep it about your creative endeavors. It's totally up to you. So then this here, I might use it like a small little tuck spot. Or maybe just as a glue down. I don't know. This is the slightly challenging part. I mean, it would also just be good as a little thing to tuck in, because it's, you know, a piece of finished ephemera, so that's fine. The tougher thing is just like figuring out how to use up all these little bits without covering everything up. So this here, I may just add to the bottom of my journal space. Okay. And then I have this big piece of a sumac plant. Sumac tree, rather. And I think I'm going to make that a tip up, down kind of situation. So I will back this. And you're kind of just building layer after layer here. I need to straighten that out a bit. Here. Let's put it down this way so I can see a little better what I'm doing. And I'm going to just lift this a little bit and try to both shorten it and straighten the bottom, because I want that to be where I create the flap for gluing down the tip out. And I'm going to shorten it a little more at the bottom. And then again, just change, you know, create a different shaped element by rounding the bottom corners. And then we'll tip this down. And I can also shorten this a little, just to reduce the bulk, because I don't need a ton of the flap to add here. And then the way I'm going to flap this on, I'm actually going to glue it on the back side of the flap. I'm going to tape it to the, or not tape, glue it to the next page. So it's like this. And then whatever I put on the other side of the page will cover that white tab. But I have now my tip down, or tip up rather. So that's more space to write in. And now we need a journal, something to journal on in here. I've still got this nice large bit. This might be something I just keep as a journal card for a future project. And then I have this piece of wood. This is zebra wood. So I think I'll tuck that in here. Oh, I have another little piece of wood. I'll tuck in here. These are wood veneers that I used. And then I have this paper cameo tag that I ended up not using. That can go in there. We have this small tree. Let's see if it would go anywhere here. I mean, I could put it on the flip up, actually, the tip up. I'll just glue it and then I'll show you, because I know it might be a little out of camera. It's hard to show those tips when they're tipping out of the book. And I tend to like to put pockets on things that I tip out of books because I feel like it just makes it easier. I mean, it's easy to write on things, but I also like the idea of having a pocket instead. So there's that. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to use, this is an image from the tulip tree. So I think I want to keep that because I love tulip trees. And I might use it as another little pocket down here, or somewhere here. I'm just trying to decide. I mean, it could go as a pocket on the flat, but I don't want to lose the image. So maybe it's better that I back it and make it into a journal tag. But I need a little tuck down here for sure. We need something to hold on to things. Because, you know, we're layering here. We're being maximalist. We can't be afraid of that. It's the whole point of the project. And then I also have this leaf. Where is my stapler? Because what I'll do is I'll staple this leaf onto here. Okay, come on. Just gotta get the right angle on this. Right there. Okay, that's that. Now, I have to back this. I'll back it with a little of this green paper that I also used in the journal. And then I might just pop that inside here as well, because there is still room. Pocket is not full. This little snip here. I'll come back to that. And I use these for tabs, so I think I'll glue that little tab on, because I used some of this torn green paper to make tabs in the Radiant Tree journal. Oh yeah, and then this frame that I made from one of my daughter's little collections. So I might put that on here. No, because I don't want to cover up him. Maybe I'll just keep it here as a keepsake. And then I have this little acorn I can stick on the tab. That's more of like a pocket. I think I'll just keep that for a future journal. But then I have this little tree. We can find a place to keep this. Maybe right here. And this little heart. It's from the paper cameo kit, one of them that I used. I'm going to put it right in the center of this tree. Now, just looking at all the materials I have here. So I have this page of silver maple from a golden book. Sorry, this takes a little thinking when you're working, because yeah, it's just something you need to think a little about how you want to do things, because you're trying to preserve like all the details that you want to still have, right? So so that could be fun, and you can decide if you want to back it or if you want to leave it as is. And in this case, I think I just want to leave this as is, because I really enjoy as part of my journals, and I want to express that in the style that I do this. I do love leaving informational pages, especially in nature journal books. So this can go here. So that will tip out, and you can still access everything underneath. And then I have this that says My Musings. If you wanted to, that could even be a tip down for more journal space. I'm just trying to express to you like how you can build layers and layers, and you can, you know, have your pages be bulky or less bulky if you just use sort of thinner paper to do these kind of things. Nature Science for Young Folks. I might make a pocket on my flap with that, like a tuck down. So let me see. Okay. So I'm just going to move the book around a little so that you can see more clearly what I'm going to do. Actually, I might just, yeah, I'll do this. Okay, you can see that a little better, right? So I want to glue and make like a tuck spot from the top of this. Oops, and I want to use this Nature Science thing here to do that. Okay, so it's on there. Now I've got to flip it, put the book back down, and just kind of wipe the excess glue away. And then we'll trim around those curves. Okay, so now what we have is an upper tuck pocket that's been shaped to the same side, like the same shape as this tip down. So then we'll find something to put in that. I have this. Just looking at all the things that I have left over here. I have this too. Let me see if that would be, yeah, that will fit. Perfect. So then that tips back down. And I think I need to just go over to the other page here and make sure I don't have, yeah, this has come up. So let's glue that bit of that sumac page back down on our flap here. There we go. All right. And we have this owl. I might just stick this owl right here. Okay. Then I have this tab. I'm just going to add it to this. Okay. This frame. So what I might do with the frame is just going to clean up the fussy cut that I have on it a bit. Sometimes when I'm fussy cutting a lot of things, I do sort of a precursor cut, and then I go back and sort of tidy up the lines when I'm ready to use the piece. So it gives me a lot of pre-made fussy cuts, but they're not always completely done. I'm going to stick this on here for some extra journaling space. Then I have a bird. I might just put that there as a focal point. So like now that I've built lots of layers of like journaling space and inspiring images, I'm kind of finishing the page with just focal points. And you know, if you're doing this in a journal, you might want, like in a journal that you're writing in, you might want to do it in a way that it's kind of specific to like whatever is going on in your life at the time, like your you know, like your, if you have, say, a day at the beach, you will maybe stick down, you know, your French fry label that you got off of your beach French fries, and you'll stick down the tag from that sun hat that you forgot to bring, so you had to buy a new one. You know, all that kind of stuff. Like you'll build your pages with things like that. And now I just like to also create little interesting journal places, like with labels that are left over. And again, this is like a project I do to just use up the bits and bobs that are left over when I've pulled a bunch of materials for a journal. That would be right there. Okay. I have another little acorn. We've got one on that tab, but I think I'll put another one maybe here. Why not? I'm sorry if some of this is off. I'm trying to keep it all on here. We have this little golden locket type heart. Put that here. And you're just kind of building like little things on top of one another. So I think that's how maximalism can work, because it feels very like almost Alice in Wonderland-y, kind of like you're, you know, you're going down the rabbit hole of what's going on in the book. So then one other thing I might do is I might create a tuck spot on here with this. Even though I said, oh, I want to keep that journal information, or that information. You can also choose to change your mind. So this will be a little tuck spot right here on the tip out. And I think sometimes, you know, junk journaling and making journals and stuff, or even just watching the videos, you can find the most inspiration when you see lots of flips and flops and tucks, and like, you know, there's intrigue to like a page that you have to like dig into to find everything going on. And that's one thing that I enjoy about journals, especially, you know, if it's been a long time since you made the book, you forget the things that you did. Like sometimes when I do a flip through of a journal I've completed, you know, especially with a series where it's taken me a long time to make, I forget how I did things over time, and it's exciting to kind of go back through it. So now I have this poem that says, well, or a verse, trees are poems that the earth writes upon the sky. And I'm going to put that here, maybe somewhere. I want it to be visible. I don't want to cover that tulip tree label. I'm attached to it for some reason. I mean, I could put it on the front of here with the bird. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Okay. Because I think when you, well, another reason I like doing this project, where I use up my last little bits for the different themed journals that I've made, is I feel like for a little while now, I'm going to feel very done with the topic of trees, because I've just made 3 tree journals and it's kind of out of my system. So I think, yeah, it'll be nice to just use up these materials and not have them, you know, hanging around in my studio, just kind of taking up space. Although nature themes, I feel like I'm not really so concerned in that way, because I can use them in so many other things I do when I'm doing journals. Nature seems to play a role in most of my work. So all right, we have this other little heart, which I'm going to use to cover up that staple. Just kind of press that down. We might be just about done with this, I think. There we go. Just looking for any other small things that I could make use of. That could be nice there. So we may honestly just be finished too. Might glue that on here. I just like this leaf. So I'll just glue it to the front of the tag. Okay. And we have this last leaf. Yeah, I'll put that on there. I kind of like how it covers that seam between the 2 pieces of paper, but I still have writing space on that label. Okay, so now that this is all glued down, let's do kind of a review of what the whole page looks like, and let me get my materials out of the way so I can kind of re-center here. Just do a tiny little tidy up before we look at this, which I think is also a nice thing to do when you're working, is to just kind of recombobulate things before moving on. I'm at a refreshing part of the process right now where I've just finished a journal and I'm going to be starting another one, and I haven't even decided what it's going to be yet. So now I just kind of give one smooth down kind of press to everything. Okay, so this is my page. Let me just maybe just cover this up so it's not distracting. So this is the page that we're looking at, and it's about the tree journals that I just completed. So you'll see we've got this layer, writing space here, collage space too. Then we have this with writing space here. It tips out, journaling cards for writing space, and a little pocket there to hold them. Then we have this tip up, journaling space here, and we tip it up and we have a journal card to write on. And then with the flat lay of the page, we have a pocket here that has this piece of wood which you can back and journal on, as well as these two journal card, journal tag items. And there's still room for more in there if we wanted. And then in here, this tuck spot, we have this, which you could back and journal on as well. And then in this pocket, we have this tag, this little piece of wood that could also be written on, and then this little sort of journal tag. So there is a deceiving amount of space here, and because of the way that I've used quite flat papers, it's not super bulky. So I think it's a realistic way to do, you know, a very busy maximalist spread in a journal with fun layers. And you're really, the width of your paper here is only going to be, you know, it's quite thin. It's really only the width of, I would say, a stack of 3 papers. So that's not going to bulk up a journal. So that is my project for today. I'm no stranger to maximalism. I quite like it, actually. I think it's a nice way to build. Like, it's like a cabinet of curiosities in there, right? So I hope you'll give it a try, and I hope you have fun and you're able to shake out any fears of maximalism that you have. And we will talk again very soon. Bye for now.